zooming Lily and a glare. The petunias practically vibrated with color. Good morning, sunshine, I thought, as I turned my cheek toward the sun and inhaled their sweet perfume. My hands, gnarled with arthritis but still surprisingly nimble, plucked a rogue weed from the tomato bed. This garden, my sanctuary, was proof that beauty could bloom anywhere, even in the face of concrete and conformity. With a practiced twist, I engaged the motor on zooming Lily, my purple-wheeled chariot. The name was a joke, of course, but also a declaration. Just because I couldn't walk didn't mean I couldn't fly. I zipped down the newly installed ramp, the smooth concrete a silent thank you for months of paperwork and persistence. The neighborhood awaited. The air, thick with the scent of freshly cut grass, filled my lungs. Kids shrieked with laughter as they chased a rogue soccer ball. A golden retriever strained at its leash, eager to sniff every bush. This was my world, vibrant and alive, and I was part of it. Until I saw her. Mrs. Crabtree stood ramrod straight on her pristine lawn, a human scarecrow guarding against any perceived threat to her perfect world. Her lips, perpetually pursed, tightened even further as zooming Lily approached. Her eyes, cold and gray, followed me with an intensity that could curdle milk. I waved, a cheerful, good morning, escaping my lips. She didn't wave back. The glare intensified, a silent accusation hanging in the air. Undeterred, I continued my cruise. Let her glare. I had petunias to admire, children to wave to, and a whole neighborhood to embrace. And besides, I thought, my garden needed me. The zucchini was threatening to take over the entire plot, and those tomatoes weren't going to ripen themselves. Gardening was my passion, and the world, even Mrs. Crabtree's corner of it, needed more beauty, not less. The ramp ruckus begins. The knock was sharp, insistent, like a woodpecker drilling into the front door. David Chin sighed, wiping flour from his hands. He'd been attempting Lily's grandmother's bao recipe, a Sunday tradition since Lily's accident made the trip across town difficult. He opened the door to find Beatrice Crabtree, HOA president, perched on his doorstep like a particularly disapproving gargoyle. "Mr. Chin," she said, her voice tight. "We need to discuss this, eyesore." She gestured with a manicured hand towards the freshly painted wooden ramp leading to the porch. David's stomach clenched. "Mrs. Crabtree, good morning. I was just about to dash. That structure violates several covenants," she interrupted, her gaze sweeping over the ramp as if it were a festering wound on the landscape. "Aesthetics, property values, conformity. It's simply unacceptable." David forced a calm tone. "Mrs. Crabtree, with all due respect, the ramp is essential. My daughter, Lily, uses a wheelchair. It allows her to enter and exit the house independently." He spread his hands. "It's not a matter of aesthetics. It's about accessibility." Mrs. Crabtree's pursed lips tightened further. "Accessibility is one thing, Mr. Chin, but blatant disregard for community standards is another. We have rules for a reason. It must be removed." Her gaze flicked past David, as if hoping Lily wouldn't appear. Immediately. Yellow tape and empty gardens. Yellow tape, bright and accusatory, crisscrossed the bottom of her ramp. Lily's breath hitched. The vibrant green of her garden, usually a welcoming beacon, seemed to mock her from beyond the barrier. A stiff, cream-colored notice was taped to the railing. HOA violation. Removal order. Her fingers trembled as she peeled it off. Legalese swam before her eyes, accusations of unapproved modifications and safety hazards blurring together. The ramp, her lifeline to the outside world, was deemed a nuisance. She crumpled the paper in her fist, the sharp edges digging into her palm. Her gaze drifted to the garden. The petunias she'd coaxed into bloom, the herbs she used for tea, the tomato plants promising a summer harvest, all untouchable. A wave of sadness washed over her, heavier than she expected. It wasn't just the garden, it was the freedom, the connection to nature that grounded her. She glanced at her phone. Messages from Maya and David buzzed, arranging their weekly game night. Usually, she'd be buzzing with anticipation, already planning the snacks. Now, the thought of explaining this, of being pitted, made her stomach clench. She typed a quick reply. "Not feeling well." Rain check? The yellow tape felt like a physical manifestation of her isolation, a barrier erected not just around her ramp, but around her life. A secret superpower. Lily slumped against the worn floral cushions of the porch swing, the rhythmic creak a mournful soundtrack to her despair. The scent of honeysuckle, usually a comfort, felt cloying, heavy. Vivian knelt, taking Lily's hand. It was cold. "Hey, what's going on in that brilliant mind of yours?" Lily sniffed, avoiding her mother's gaze. She just doesn't get it, Mom. She actually said, "Why do you need such a big ramp anyway? Can't you just walk a little?" Vivian's jaw tightened, but her voice remained soft. "Some people choose ignorance, Lilybug. It's their failing, not yours. And you, my girl, have a secret weapon against ignorance." Lily frowned. "My wheelchair." Vivian chuckled, tucking a stray strand of hair behind Lily's ear. "Something much more powerful. Remember that fancy title you earned? Junior State Ambassador for Accessible Living? That's not just a pretty ribbon for your resume, sweetie. That's a responsibility, a calling. You have a voice, Lily. A loud one. And people in power listen to you." A flicker of determination ignited in Lily's eyes, replacing some of the hurt. Junior State Ambassador. It sounded so official, so important. She pictured the crisp certificate hanging in her room, the weight of the words printed on it suddenly feeling heavier, more real. This wasn't just about her ramp. It was about everyone who faced similar battles. The fire in her belly wasn't entirely banked after all. She doesn't know who she's messing with, does she? Lily muttered, a small, defiant smile playing on her lips. Gathering evidence. Enough was enough. Lily wheeled around, the abrupt turn nearly sending her purse tumbling. She caught it just in time, a flash of defiant energy surging through her. Mrs. Crabtree wanted a war? Fine. Lily knew how to fight. The first step was documentation. Lily pulled out her phone, its smooth coolness a comfort in her suddenly clammy hand. She began taking pictures, the makeshift barrier of potted petunias, the uneven slope of the sidewalk, the glare of Mrs. Crabtree's meticulously manicured lawn. Each click felt like a small act of rebellion. Back inside, the scent of jasmine tea, usually so calming, now felt cloying. She brewed a fresh pot anyway, needing the ritual to ground her. As the tea steeped, Lily opened her laptop. The internet became her arsenal. She typed in California accessibility laws, residential, and a torrent of information flooded the screen. Lily dove in, bookmarking relevant articles, highlighting key phrases. She needed to understand the legal landscape, to arm herself with facts. An hour later, her eyes blurred and her head throbbed, but she had a clearer picture. The HOA's responsibilities, the rights of disabled residents, it was all there, in black and white. She even found a section detailing penalties for obstructing accessible pathways. A grim satisfaction settled over her. This wasn't just about her ramp anymore. It was about holding Mrs. Crabtree accountable. The clinking of ice against glass announced the arrival of Lily's neighbor, Maria. She had a mischievous glint in her eyes and a large, unmarked box. "I think," Maria whispered, "I have something that might help." Preparing for battle. Lily jabbed at the keyboard, resizing an image of a comically steep ramp. Seriously, who approved this? Vivian chuckled, adjusting the microphone on Lily's laptop. Someone who's never tried navigating it in a wheelchair, I suspect. Ready for your sound check? Lily cleared her throat. Esteemed members of the HOA, as you can see, this ramp is a hazard. She winced. Too aggressive? A little, Vivian agreed gently. Try focusing on the positive impact accessibility improvements will have on the whole community. Grandparents visiting, parents with strollers, delivery personnel. Hours blurred into a montage of bullet points, pie charts illustrating neighborhood demographics, and carefully chosen photographs of accessible playgrounds. Lily felt a nervous energy thrumming beneath her skin. It's not just about ramps, is it? It's about belonging. Vivian squeezed her shoulder. Exactly. And the law. Don't forget to mention the fines for noncompliance. Lily practiced her closing statement, her voice gaining confidence with each repetition. Accessibility isn't a burden, it's an investment. An investment in our neighbors, our families, in the future of our community. The words felt right, solid. She glanced at Vivian, who gave her a small, encouraging nod. The laptop chimed, a reminder. Showtime, Lily muttered, her stomach doing a nervous flip. She adjusted her blazer, took a deep breath, and clicked the Zoom link. The battle for belonging was about to begin. The HOA showdown. The fluorescent lights of the community center hummed, casting a sickly yellow glow on Mrs. Crabtree's tight, disapproving face. She stood behind a makeshift podium, clutching a stack of papers like a shield. The Chin residence has erected an alteration to their property, she announced, her voice dripping with disapproval. This ramp, constructed without proper authorization, violates several covenants regarding uniformity and aesthetic harmony within the community. She droned on about property values and declining curb appeal, each word a nail hammered into Lily's already fraying patience. David, still smelling faintly of yeast and pork filling, squeezed Lily's hand. The aroma of his failed bow clung to his worry. Then it was Lily's turn. She wheeled herself forward, the software of her chair a counterpoint to Mrs. Crabtree's droning. She looked out at the sea of faces, some curious, some hostile, some simply bored. Taking a deep breath, she began, her voice clear and strong. This ramp isn't about aesthetics, it's about accessibility. It's about my independence. She told them about the stroke, the months of therapy, the crushing feeling of being trapped in her own home. She spoke of her work, advocating for others with disabilities, work that was now threatened by this very obstacle. Without this ramp, Lily said, her gaze sweeping the room, I am trapped. I am not asking for special treatment. I am asking for equal opportunity. A hush fell over the room. Even Mrs. Crabtree seemed momentarily silenced, her stack of papers trembling in her hand. A surprising revelation. A hush fell over the small gathering. Mrs. Crabtree, emboldened by the growing crowd of onlookers, puffed out her chest, ready to deliver what Lily assumed would be another condescending lecture. Vivian stepped forward, her voice calm yet firm. Mrs. Crabtree, I understand your concerns about property values and aesthetics. However, I must inform you that obstructing this ramp is not simply a matter of homeowner preference. She paused, her gaze sweeping over the stunned faces in the crowd. I am Dr. Vivian Holloway, and I serve as the state official overseeing ADA enforcement. The air crackled with a sudden, palpable tension. Lily's jaw dropped. She hadn't known. Vivian continued, her voice resonating with authority. This ramp provides essential access for a resident with mobility impairments. Blocking it constitutes a clear violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Continued obstruction will result in significant legal repercussions, including substantial fines and potential lawsuits. Mrs. Crabtree's face, previously flushed with indignation, paled considerably. Her mouth opened and closed, but no sound emerged. The triumphant gleam in her eyes flickered and died, replaced by a dawning horror. The murmuring of the crowd intensified, a wave of whispers washing over the manicured lawns. Lily watched, a slow smile spreading across her face. The sweet taste of justice hung in the air, thicker and more satisfying than any summer breeze. A change of heart. The vote was unanimous. Even Mr. Henderson, who'd complained about the unsightly color of Lily's petunias, raised his hand in favor. Dr. Holloway beamed, squeezing Lily's shoulder. The motion passed, the ramp stayed, and the HOA would establish an accessibility fund, earmarking a portion of future dues for similar projects. Later, as Lily was helping her father knead the stubbornly elastic Baudeau, a hesitant knock echoed through the open kitchen window. Mrs. Crabtree stood on the porch, her face uncharacteristically pale. Lily, she began, her voice trembling slightly, I owe you an apology. Lily straightened, wiping her flour-dusted hands on her apron. David paused his kneading, watching with concern. I didn't understand, Mrs. Crabtree continued, her gaze dropping to the porch floorboards. I only saw the ramp as an imposition, a violation of the rules. But after Dr. Holloway spoke, and after seeing you navigate it yourself, I realized I was wrong, terribly wrong. She looked up, her eyes glistening. My own sister, she had polio as a child. She used crutches her whole life. I should have remembered. Lily's heart softened. She stepped onto the porch. It's okay, Mrs. Crabtree, she said gently. It's never too late to learn. She paused, then added, my mom makes the best dumplings. Maybe sometime, you could join us for dinner. A faint smile touched Mrs. Crabtree's lips. I'd like that very much, Lily,